My name is Winford Hurd. I was born and reared in Marshall, Texas. I attended elementary school in a little small area called Buck Ridge, which is out in the country. My mother was a school teacher, and she taught me in the first grade. And the school that I attended had 2 rooms. In the morning time, the small kids would have school, and then afternoon, the older kids would have school. So then we had to do our study lesson while they were in school. And my father, he worked on the railroad. My mother took care of us during the week, and he would work on a traveling gang that did the rail and put the tires under the rails. And he would be gone all week, so I would get assignments to do on the farm. I'd have to, once I got out of high school, after I got to high school, we had chores to do. We had to get up early and feed the hogs and the chickens and milk the cows, and then come back and get ready and go catch the bus at 7 o'clock. And then ride the bus 20 miles to school every day. Then my cousins lived down the road a short distance from us. We'd get together on the weekend and play catch ball, play baseball, and, run around and chase each other. We had a lot of fun, growing up. So as I graduated from high school, I wasn't sure whether I wanted to go to college. I decided to go to the Army, and so I went to the service and did my time. And then when I came back home, my mother said, "Well, you're not going to lay around here. You need to get busy and do something with your life." So I went to Wiley College, which is a black college there in Marshall, Texas. And I went for 6 months, and I decided my grades wasn't as good because I was chasing all the pretty girls that was coming up. The Creoles out of Louisiana, they was awful cute. So I had a big time having fun with them. So I finally decided that I'm not going to make it here in Marshall. So I went to Wichita, Kansas, and one of my aunts lived there, and she was married to a gentleman by the name of Howard LaFall, and he was working at Southwestern Bell Telephone Company. So I needed a job, and I said, "Hey, can't you help me get on?" So he helped me get employed with Southwestern Bell, and Southwestern Bell had a tuition plan where after you had been at work at that location for a period of time, they would pay for your tuition. So I went to school at Wichita State University, and I went for 2 years. And I decided, I don't know what I want to do. So I decided I need to get myself into a trade. So I became interested in the air-conditioned refrigeration. So I went to training. They had a Votech school that did that kind of, plumbing and heating and electrical, those kind of things. So I went there for 4 years while I was working. I worked at the phone company at night, started out, worked from 10 to 6:30, and I was a stockman. I would stock the trucks at night and prepare them so they would be ready the next day to go out and service the customers. So Southwestern Bell was a good place to work. It was kind of like a family business. They enjoyed hiring people that were relatives because they felt like they were going to be there. So I was real eager to move on, so I was promoted several times. I had a number of different jobs where I worked as a craftsman, And then I went into management, and I was one of the managers over the building operations centers through the area in Wichita, Kansas. And then their job came open in the Kansas City area, and I thought, well, I think I need to move. So I moved on to Kansas City. Well, I met this young lady, and we got married, and we eventually had 2 kids. We had a girl and a boy, and my wife, the wife that I was married to then, was kind of hard to deal with. She wanted to run everything the way she wanted to run it, and she always turned me against the kids. You know, I always said, well, these are my kids, they're not yours. So we had this disagreement with that. So eventually I couldn't decide that I need to move on. So I moved out, and I moved to an apartment with one of the guys I was working with at the telephone company. And we lived together for a couple of years and dated several women. So I met this young lady that worked at the phone company. She was working at this one location which is on Wabash, I think 3901 Wabash. And I went there one day. I was over the building maintenance crew through the western part of Missouri. So I went out there one day, and I went to go in the door, and she wanted to know, well, what are you out here for? And I said, well, this is my responsibility to take care of the building. She said, well, you're not supposed to be in there. You need to call somebody, because I'm not letting you in. So we argued about that, and I told her, okay, well, you need to let me in the building, because I need to make sure that the air conditioner and the heating is running. If we can't get along, then I'll just make sure that the guys don't come over and service the air conditioner. So we finally made up, and we got to know each other, dated, and we finally decided she wanted to get married. And I thought, well, I don't know whether I want to remarry or not. But finally we got together, and now we are been together for like 47 years as marriage. So in 1990, Southwestern Bell offered an early retirement plan, and I decided, what do you offer me? So they offered me a buyout, gave me a nice settlement, and then in the buyout, they would cover your health insurance and a pension plan, and I was able to get the health insurance and the pension plan. So I thought, well, now I'm too young to just hang out, I need to do something. So I thought, well, I either want to find some business that I wanted to do, and I thought about maybe doing a limo service, do a janitorial company. So I finally decided to do the janitorial route. And I started out, and I went marketed to some of the ladies I knew at the telephone company. Started out as a maid service company, and I would take a crew, and we'd go out and service the homes during the week, mostly on the weekend. Like everybody wants their house cleaned on Fridays, so that they have a nice, clean place for the weekend. So that grew to the point where I thought, well, I don't know what I want to. And they got to the point where they wanted me to always be there with the crew, and I said, well, I can't, be there all the time. So I chose to go to the commercial route, which was janitorial services. And I started this company called Satellite Janitorial Company. And it started out, we were very small, and I started marketing to the government, to GSA and the state of Missouri and the state of Iowa and the state of Texas, and I got a bunch of contracts, and we grew so fast we had, I had to figure out now what.
This is brought to you by Kansas City Business Association. working to improve our community.